Hi guys. I wanted to talk to you all today about narcissistic mothers and share a little bit of my experience with one so that maybe someone could learn from what I've dealt with and heal their life and know what to do when you have a narcissistic mother in your life. Okay. Um, I Actually, let me backtrack a little bit in my life. My real mother abandoned me when I was very young. And so I went into the care of my grandmother, who was the narcissist in my life. Okay. Um, when you have a mother like this, they may remind you of Mommy Dearest. Okay. Or if you've ever seen the movie Precious, my grandmother was very much like that. And if I ever say my mother, I'm really referring to my grandmother who raised me. Okay. So, back to what I was saying. They can be very, very mean, very self-centered, very manipulating, and very competitive with you. Okay. So, for example, when you're growing up as a daughter, and you are trying to find a life for yourself. Okay, you're trying to find your way, right? And you find things that make you happy in life. You know, maybe it's dancing, maybe it's singing, maybe it's art. The narcissistic mother, she does not really want you to embrace yourself fully, okay? Because she doesn't want you to realize your potential or your greatness. Because should you ever realize these things, then she may have a monster on her hands that she can't control. And so their whole aim is to keep you under their control and to control your life, and make it where sometimes you may not be very successful in life because they've planted things in your mind that make you doubt yourself, okay, and doubt your abilities to get out into the world and be that, that thing that you've always wanted to be. Okay, so now let me tell you a little bit about my history and how I overcame narcissistic abuse. And it's really a work in progress, okay? I don't think that you ever fully recover, but I have recovered to a certain extent, and I'll explain that at the end of the video. Okay, but once again, I was my biological mother abandoned me when I was very young. I went into the care of my grandmother, who was very verbally abusive, physically abusive, and emotionally abusive with her narcissistic personality disorder. Okay, and so when I went into her care, it was like she made it where the only person that I could depend on was her. Okay. She had taken me away from my father. I really believe that she ran away my mother. And so, and I didn't have any contact with anyone, not even my brothers and sisters on my father's side. I didn't have contact with my cousins on my father's side, my grandmother and grandfather on my father's side. She just wanted me all to herself. Okay. So that I could be this object that she controlled and manipulated into being whatever it is that she wanted me to be, to make herself feel, whatever it is that she's needing to feel about herself. Okay. So a lot of times the narcissistic mother will do this. Okay. Now let's say that you have several brothers and sisters. Okay. They will choose one who they do this to, and it's usually the favorite, while the ones that she does not really favor get pushed away. Okay. So I've been all of these things. I've been the favorite, as well as the scapegoat child, as well as the lost child. Okay. So I relate to every single dysfunctional characteristic that you can put on a child growing up in a dysfunctional family. I can relate to all of it because I've been the golden child. I've been the one that the narcissist preferred. I've been the one that the narcissist rejected. And I've been the one that the narcissist ignores. Okay. So I've been all of these. But for the most part, when you're going through this with the narcissist, especially as a young woman or as a young girl, you don't really recognize it, okay, until you get older. But when I was younger, I didn't really recognize that I was being used as an object for the narcissistic person in my life to project all of their hate onto their insecurities. Okay, so when you grow up with a narcissistic mother, what they're doing a lot of times is they are projecting their own brand of self-hate onto you. Okay, so for example, if she feels as though she's stupid, she might tell you that you're stupid. Okay, or if she feels as though she's unattractive, she might tell you that you're the one who's unattractive. Okay, so you serve as a mirror, right? And really, when you look at what narcissism is, it's a person who's looking in a mirror, right? But you serve as that mirror, okay? And you serve as that mirror that narcissist projects all of their hate onto, okay? And this affects you in a way where you can grow up very, just lacking self-esteem, or you can grow up to become a narcissist yourself, okay? If you did that, you probably aren't listening to this video because you probably think you know everything already. But most of the times, the people who are searching for answers are the ones who end up with the issues. Okay, the issues of low self-esteem, and how that low self-esteem plays out in your life through failure, right? Failure and losses, and not really living up to your full potential. So basically, there was a lot of different things that I would say happened in my life growing up that I can't really talk about in one video, okay? But I'll try to just give you an overview of some things. Like, for example, when my mother wanted to use me as a mirror, okay, to project whatever hate she felt for herself onto me, should I ever rebel against that, okay, and tell her, no, I'm not this way, I'm not what you're trying to make me out to be, then I was always met with her wrath, okay? And so when you're met with the narcissistic rage, this is where the abuse comes in, okay, where you can be treated very abusively, emotionally, neglected, cursed out, or you could deal with physical abuse. So for me, I dealt with all of it. My grandmother used to beat me with objects. Okay, she would beat me with extension cords. I got beat with the telephone cord. The cord that coiled around. We don't have them nowadays. I was born in the 70s, but back in the day, we used to have phones that plug up into the wall, and we had these thick cords. I even got beat with a cable cord. And those are very thick black cords. I got beat with that. All because, I would stand up for myself. I wouldn't take the abuse a lot of times, and I would stand up for myself. I also would be alienated, okay, from the family. She would, like meet some guy that she would be dating, and I would be treated like a stepchild, okay? She would take my pictures that were in the house, and she would rip up my pictures. She would take my pictures and turn them the opposite way so that they would be facing the wall and not, where they were presented in a way where people could see my pictures. Sometimes I wouldn't get things for Christmas. As a kid, that's really heartbreaking when you would get, blamed for something you didn't do, and then, you would just wake up and there was no Christmas. I also was always on pins and needles because when she would date someone, because narcissistic mothers are typically very envious of their daughters too. So when she would be dating someone, she would have a boyfriend or something like that, I would always have to worry about how I presented myself in front of him, because should he, think I'm a cute little girl, or smile at me or take, just find anything fond of me, it made her feel some type of way about me, So, like one particular time, one of her boyfriends accused me of putting my butt in his face. And I was about 8 or 9 years old. And I was actually sleeping in the backseat of the car, and I was trying to position my body so that my face was turned inside of the back seat because the sunlight was blaring into my face from the front of the car. And so he was driving, and he happened to turn around to see what I was doing in the back seat, and he saw that I was asleep in a fetal position where my butt was kind of extended, and he accused me of doing it on purpose. So we stopped at a rest stop, and she got upset with me, and she was like, if you want to be an adult, I'm going to treat you like an adult. And, she slammed the door in my face and things like this. And that was really traumatic and a horrific thing to go through as an 8-year-old girl, because I really didn't understand why he had a problem with my behind, But as I got older, I began to put two and two together and understand what was going on in that situation. But as a little girl, I absolutely didn't understand. So these are just some of the things that I went through. I don't really like to talk about it too much because I'm at a place in my life where I'm kind of past that, And, I may talk about some things in other videos, but at some point I just decided that I wanted to move past it. So let me tell you the deal, okay? When you have a narcissistic mother, their whole intent is to make you feel less than and inferior than they are. Okay. Really, and the way that they're doing this, once again, is they're projecting how they deeply feel about themselves onto you. Okay. And their intent is to make you feel like you're not worthy of love. You're not worthy of, anything good in life. Right. While they, on the other hand, are worthy of, everything good. And this also brings me back to another story where my mom had a lot of clothing, right? And when I was growing up, I didn't have a lot of clothes. She had 2 closets full of clothing, and I had 1 closet with maybe like 5 outfits, but she had like a lot of clothes, And so during my high school years, I only had 2 pairs of pants, and I would have to find like shirts and stuff to match these pants so that I can make it look like I was wearing different clothes, So she would leave to work a little bit earlier than me. So I would go into her closet and find a shirt that I could fit because she was always smaller than me. And I would, try to match it up with these white pants and these black pants that I wore every single day throughout all 4 of my high school years. So when she kind of sensed that I was wearing one of her shirts, just one of them, because I couldn't fit all of her clothes. This was just 1 or 2 shirts, I think, that I could fit. She decided that she was going to put her really nice clothes into suitcases with locks. And she would lock her clothes into a suitcase, and she would check the suitcases every day when she came home from work. And she would accuse me of actually going into the suitcases sometimes and taking clothes out, just to scare me, So these are the things that narcissistic mothers do. They are, just terrifying behind closed doors. But in front of people, they present a mask of, caring about their children, being a good mom, because they know that when they're in front of other people, if they was to try that crap that they try behind closed doors, people would see them for who they really are, and they don't want that. Okay, they always want to be seen as pillars of the community, wise people, caring people, people who have good qualities, but really deep down, they don't have these good qualities. It's just a mask. Okay. So back to what I was saying about healing and just moving past this. The first thing that you need to do is recognize that you have a narcissistic mother. Okay. How to recognize it is if you have a mother who is very self-centered, everything is about her. Can be an attention whore. Okay. Like, for example, it could be your birthday and she wants to make your birthday all about her. Okay. Or it could be your graduation and she wants to make your graduation all about her. Okay. Another thing that they like to do is put you down a lot. Nothing that you do is good enough. You could be going to school, studying medicine, and they'll say, well, you know what, so and so is studying to become a neuroscientist, right? So they will compare you to somebody else to try to make you feel less than and inferior, because really deep down, that's how they feel. They feel inferior. Okay. They will also, get on you about, your dating choices. They will sabotage a great relationship that you're having with someone and tell you to go date, some guy who treats you like shit, actually, because they really don't want to see you in a happy relationship, because a lot of times they're not in happy relationships. And if they are married or in any type of relationship, is usually with another narcissist. Okay. And so these two people come together and there's not real love there. It's just two people just feeding off of each other like vampires. And really that's a mother. A narcissistic mother is really like a vampire or like a parasite. They feed off of you. They're just basically feeding off of you. And that's it. Feeding off of you. And then when they're done, they basically want to throw you away. Right. So this is the thing. If you have a mother like this, recognize it early in life. Okay. Don't be like me. I waited until I was 30 something, so 30 odd years old, I think like 34 or 35, to recognize that my mother was a narcissist. And this had affected my life, most of my young adult life. Okay. As a young adult, you don't want to deal with this person. I'm telling you, you don't. I know that you love your mother. It's your mother, and she brought you into the world. Or it's some person who, is putting out an image that they are sacrificing for you, when really they're doing everything for themselves, right? So you have to see that and you have to recognize that. And what you need to do is you just have to let it go. Okay. There is no amount of talking that you can do with this person to get them to change. They don't change. Okay. Look me in my eyes. I'm telling you the truth. They don't change. There is no amount of talking to them that will change them. Even if they apologize, is cloaked in a lie. Okay. They may say, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Or I'm sorry that I did that to you, but they'll always try to justify it. They never change. Okay. So just let it go and focus on your life. Like get some paper and write down what it is that you want to accomplish in your life and just go for it. And don't tell them your plans, because once again, they just serve to sabotage you and your plans. That's it. It's almost like they're possessed with an evil entity. And imagine an evil entity that it doesn't want you to live and be happy. That's basically what they serve in your life. It's just a person who doesn't want you to be happy. So if you're 19, you're 20, or even 18 years old, and you have a chance to get away. Go away to school. Go join a service. If somebody is in your life and they love you and they want to marry you, get married and just go off and have your family and children and start a life without that mother. I'm telling you, you'll be better off in the long run, because they don't get any better. As they get older, they become even more entitled and feel that, your life is their life. And you don't want that. Should you, get yourself into a wonderful career, you don't want to be disrupted at work by a narcissistic mother who is accusing you of things that you're not doing, accusing you of hurting them, accusing you of doing all these things to them, and you're not doing anything but trying to live your life. If you want peace of mind, get them out of your life. I promise you, you will be so much happier. Now, this goes to you scapegoats. Okay, the scapegoat child is usually the one who all of this hate and dysfunction that the narcissistic mother has for all of her children is usually blamed on the scapegoat. And this message is specifically for you as a scapegoat. I know that you're probably the most hurt out of all of your siblings because you were the one who dealt with most of the abuse, the brunt of her hate. You dealt with being ostracized as a kid. You dealt with being the kid who was coined as the troublemaker, when all you were trying to do was just understand what the hell was going on, right? But let me tell you something. When they discard you, throw you away, and treat you like you're not even one of their kids, you are the one that's in the best position to move on with your life. And you actually are the strongest one because you're the one who saw the bullshit and the dysfunction and you called it out first. And that makes you very strong. That you said, you know what? I don't need this mother. What I need is truth in my life. And that narcissistic mother knows that. And so you what you did was you damaged that image that she's trying to put out there, that she's the perfect mother while abusing you and your siblings. So while you're free, a lot of times you have more freedom to leave than your other siblings because they're there still trying to pacify the narcissist. They're still listening to the narcissist. They're still being manipulated. You're not. So get away and show that narcissist that what they said about you is a lie. They lied on you, and you show them, you shame them by living a good life. That's what you do. And don't look back. Don't look back. Go on and live a great life. Get married. Find somebody who loves you. Get counseling. Read as many books on this topic as you can. Know your worth in this life so that you can attract good things to you. That is the best revenge, is to live a good life, because that's what they don't want you to do. They don't want you to live a good life. When you do it, you remember that it's war. It's you against them. So that's what I have to say to you. And you might want to say of your siblings, that golden child who is running around getting all the praise and the love from the narcissist, but deep down, that narcissist doesn't love that golden child either. And so what you need to do is just get yourself together so when that golden child is deserted, maybe, you can be a good sibling and help them out too. But that's my message for you all. Thank you for listening. I will post more videos so that you all can really understand deeply how they are. I didn't just deal with a narcissistic mother. I've also dealt with narcissistic friends. I've dealt with so many different narcissists in my life that I'm to the point in my life where I can just have a conversation with someone and I know right away when they are narcissists or not, and I know right away what to do with them. So if you're interested in learning more, subscribe and comment below. And I would like for you to comment below and tell me some of your experiences as the scapegoat child. Okay? Thank you for listening. Bye now.